actually started to work when I was in college. I went to LSR at Delhi University, and I still remember I was in second year of college, and 10 months of the year you're not doing anything really when you're at college. So I said, okay, maybe I should work. And Max New York Life was just down the road. So I went to them and I said, I want to work. And they just said that you're too young. And I said, no, I really want to do it. And 2 years of being, at college, I worked. Learned quite a bit. I learned how to take no for an answer because, when you sell insurance and you call 100 people, 99 of them say, we don't want it. So I think for me that was tough, but at the same time, I think it, subconsciously kick-started, my inner sort of resilience to really say that, okay, even if I have to accept a no and still move on. And then I went on to work for an organization, a consulting firm that basically conducted a lot of code of conduct and ethic audits across Asia. So at that point, I got to work in a lot of countries in China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Africa, and of course, dealing with a lot of different kind of people on a factory floor, with the worker up to the CEO. So it taught me a lot on skills on how to deal with people, how to ensure that you're able to get your point across to different people and different cultures. And then I went on to work for IKEA. I worked for IKEA in India, where I was working in the handmade rugs team, where the focus was I was responsible for ensuring that we source, sustainably out of India. And I worked a lot in the rural setup, rural part of India, which is the UP belt. So the carpet weaving belt, Mirzapur, Jaunpur, Bhadoi. And that really made me understand a lot about, why there is child labor, why do we face issues in that sort of a supply chain, and really look at problem solving and look at a solution-oriented approach in terms of how to resolve it. The idea was not to walk away. And I think IKEA as a company is extremely, extremely dedicated to sustainability in the true sense. So that was extremely insightful. And then I went on to work for IKEA in Sweden, where of course it was a completely different dimension. It was more on a global level, where one worked at how we could match on a strategy level to what's happening in the supply chain. And yes, living in Sweden, I grew professionally as well as personally. And then I came back, I took a bit of a sabbatical, and now I head skill development for Tech Mahindra Foundation. So that's a little bit about my professional journey. So since I do work in the skill development space, I can focus a little bit on that. Of course, travel, because I had the program in India and we work across 11 cities. So it's a substantial amount of travel that I do every month. Of course, now I talk pre-COVID. However, after COVID, even though we've been, one has managed to work and really, ensure that things get done. But when your role involves dealing with people, it's, for me personally, the personal connect is extremely important. And when you're there on the ground, you get a sense of what is happening. So I think, of course, we all have sort of rewired and have had the ability and the agility to really accept what the situation is and make the most of it. But having said that, I think there is a lot of positive that has come out for us as a foundation, and also for me personally, because one has really discovered or rediscovered a lot of things that you kind of leave along the way. And we do see that there are jobs in the market, retention, which is a big thing where people move from job to job. That has slowed down, of course, because everyone wants to keep their job. But also what has happened is that everyone has stepped up. So even a 19 or 20-year-old person who's coming to us to get skilled we have seen that they make more of they take it more seriously in terms of doing the course, because they know it's harder to get a job now, and there are many more people competing for the same job. Having said that, I think one thing which is great, which has come out, is that the employers have not taken undue advantage of the situation. They are paying the same as pre-COVID or higher, which is a revelation, which is extremely positive, because when COVID happened, we never thought that that would happen. So it's been quite, quite insightful. At the same time, what I would really like to say is that we focus a lot on skilling hearing and speech impaired and persons with disability, visually impaired. What we see is that employers have become more accepting, and they are taking the diversity and inclusion agenda very seriously. So these are the positive things I see changing in terms of trends, where you really see a lot of integration, a lot of collaborative kind of an approach. We are also thinking how should we collaborate with other CSRs? How do we really look at finding a common path in order to make an impact? So a lot of focus has moved from really doing things to making an impact, and what is a really good way to get to that. I think, again, going back to one of the things that I have learned is how to be a good loser, and how to really accept defeat with grace, and still have the courage to move forward. So I think that has really helped, and I think it is because I have had the fortune of seeing the society at large at different levels. So from someone who goes to work on a shop floor to a CEO, and really what their journey has been, how to interact with them, how people face defeat in terms of what their circumstances are. So I think that has for me, that is extremely important, personally and professionally, because of course we're not going to win everything, and there will be times that we will have to face defeat. So I think that's extremely important for me. The other thing that is because it's personally as well, it's extremely important for me as a person to be able to strike a balance between my personal and professional life. And I learned this when I lived in Sweden, that yes, it is possible to do for a woman. I have 2 young kids, and of course, working full time and having a full career. I travel with work. It's extremely important to strike that balance, which makes it great, because I go happy to work, and I'm happy because I'm able to strike that balance with my personal life as well. So these, I think it's extremely important as a woman to be able to do that. It's not easy. It's not a cakewalk. I completely agree and I second that. But it's not that it's not possible. And then I think, to be able to have the agility to adapt to what your circumstances are, what the situation is, and take the best decision in that circumstance. So that is extremely important. Even as a leader, it's extremely important to accept the change, ensure that you're able to adapt and still get the best out of the situation. So if I'm because COVID is extremely fresh in everyone's mind, everyone's going through it. And I think for me personally and professionally, it's brought out a lot of positive. Really look at the glass half full rather than look at the glass half empty. And extremely, extremely positive insights into how we could work differently and make a more significant impact, even though we're holding classes virtually and skilling is going on virtually. Also in my personal life, how you rediscover a lot of simple pleasures of life, which we tend to, at least I have complicated over the years. But I have rediscovered a lot of things that I had lost along the way. And some things that I would like to share in terms of, my learnings with emerging leaders is it's extremely important to have fun in life in general. So personally, professionally, it's important to lead a fulfilling life. There will be ups and downs. There will be all of that, but at the end of the day, you've got to have fun in life, right? And you've got to live it up no matter what the circumstances are. And also as a leader, I think it's important to lead with empathy. It's important to listen more than you actually speak. Because I really see around that a lot of, when you get into a leadership role, you leave that behind because suddenly you start to feel that, okay, now I'm in I've got to lead and my word is the last word. So I think just to be aware of the fact that as a leader, you really have to step back in some ways and learn to listen more than you actually talk.